Year.
Or New Year's Eve,
New Year's Eve, yeah.
as it would be. We're so happy to be back visiting with you again today. This was as festive as we could get.
Yeah.
With minimalist, I don't have a lot of stuff kicking around.
We don't do many wild parties where we have beads or fireworks or little horns that go toot, 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 toot. None of
That's
that.
right, we have these horns.
So bear with us.
Right. Well, we just wanted to really make sure to touch base with you as we close out this year and open the door to who knows what the new year is going to have.
I was surprised when I was listening to TV or whatever, to hear all the things that happened this year there were so many things that I didn't remember the first few things of the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
But we were still going through COVID, I know that.
Oh, yeah. Well, I actually read my journal page from last year, and it was saying, we were mid-COVID, we're still in it. And I remember writing I wrote in my journal, well, I really hope, that this year we'll be through with it, and we're still not really through with it.
People are actually getting comfortable wearing a mask, and there's nothing wrong with that. Even kids going to school, nobody has an argument from their kids anymore or anything. It doesn't hurt, and if you're not feeling well, wear a mask.
Speaking of which, making that note, today is December 31st, 2022.
I got the 20 part.
2022.
This is actually it. It really is.
Yeah.
Tomorrow morning when we wake up, 23.
We'll be here.
Yeah.
So we wanted to have a little pre-holiday. We opened with Wishnowska. We're going to close with it. So Happy New Year, my sister.
Happy New Year.
Woo! Good as ever.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's your turn to talk.
It's my turn to, it's a little hard to talk right after that first sip. But we wanted to share a little bit about what New Year's was like when we were younger and what it's come to by this time. And I do not remember our parents celebrating New Year in any particular way. They might have gone out to parties.
I don't think they had a routine. I think it was a little different a lot. They had the same guests, and I think they probably rotated from house to house, because I'm sure you remember, I remember anyway, going to friends' houses on the night that they were having a card party.
Yeah, they did home parties more than anything.
They would actually put us to sleep in the people's bed,
Yes.
I don't know what the occasion was. It might have just been, let's get together and play cards. I'm not sure, but it could have been New Year's Eve.
I don't remember any big rowdy
No.
New Year's Eve parties. And as a teenager, I usually babysat. So that was my whoop-de-doo. And you?
No babysitting. I don't remember ever babysitting until Melissa came along.
Wow. Well, Melissa was probably born when I was still I was 18 by then. You have this vision of what New Year's is going to be, and you see all the people partying and waving stuff
all
around.
All dressed up in their fancy clothes.
Oh, yes.
Staggering around.
And there's movies about... that is one thing that has changed a lot over the years. Back in the day, there was a lot drinking and getting drunk was taken much more lightly then. Yeah. It was actually kind of a joke. Matter of fact, there was a comedian name. I don't even remember him. His name was Foster Brooks.
Oh my, Foster Brooks. That was his shtick.
That was his shtick. He was always going to have just a little drink.
Whose show was he on?
Probably like Jack Benny, and I think he showed up on a lot of shows. And of course, Dean Martin, if you're not familiar with that, was also kind of well known for his desire to imbibe. Now we've changed
it was considered
a lot.
Sexy because it was a little voice and
yeah. I'm weird. I didn't think Dean Martin was so sexy. I thought Jerry Lewis was.
You would.
I always went for the comedians. I just did. I don't know what the heck's up with that. But New Year's Eve, as we progress now, what does everybody think about when they think about New Year's Eve? What's
Times Square.
Times Square?
Gotta be.
Yeah. Do you watch it on TV?
No, absolutely not. I'm in
Yeah.
bed long before that.
I did for a while, and then when you get to the point where you don't know who the heck any of those people
You don't know
are,
any of the singers at all. And
Once-
they're half naked and they're up in that cold snow by
Yeah.
the clock. I don't get that.
once Dick Clark passed on,
Yeah.
And-
Everything kind of.
COVID has even changed that. But I went to Times Square for New Year's Eve in 1964. 1964 to 1965, that turnover. So there you are in this crowd of pushy, shovey people, and it wasn't even that. Excuse me, I think they were so. Excuse me, got a little run here. Yeah, the people were they were boisterous. I don't know that they were particularly drunk, but it was really crowded and cold and nasty, and everything was so expensive. Oh my
We're in New York.
stars! And so we decided we didn't want to stay with all the pushing around and everything in down at Times Square. So we went over to this little Mexican bar on a side street. It was called Zachel's.
You remember that, huh?
Yeah, and you know what? I wasn't even legally old enough to drink in Connecticut. So in New York I was. So can't tell you what I had. You know, margaritas were not in at that time.
No.
People did not drink margaritas.
Mexicans weren't either.
Yeah, it was basically highballs and stuff like that. So I have no idea what I drank that night. But when the ball came down, we were in the bar.
Did they have it on television like they do now?
I don't know. We were just talking.
So whatever you were drinking was pretty good.
I
Hail
didn't.
to New Year's Eve.
Happy New Year
Yeah.
again. Woohoo.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't that drunk. I didn't drink at all. But here's another thing. That it was so expensive. And I think we told this in a previous video, but it's worth repeating. Now you have to remember, this was 66 years ago. No, 56 years ago. And, which is a long time. A lot of you aren't even that, not close. One of my kids is finally that age. But we paid for 2 hamburgers, 2 order of fries, and 2 coffees, $11.75.
Wow.
Now that was in the day of
You can't get
McDonald's
McDonald's
hamburgers
anymore.
being 15 cents. 45 cents for a 3-course meal, 15-cent burger, 15-cent fries, 15-cent Coke. Yeah, that's the way it was.
Whole not good for you meal.
Well, I was so mad. I was not going to pay that. So I paid for the coffees, and I told him to keep the rest. I wasn't not going to pay for it. I just could not believe paying that kind of money. And we stayed at a hotel downtown. So, you know what? Sometimes it's better to just stay home.
Oh yeah.
And
We get all the good parts on TV anyway.
the better, and you're warm.
That's right.
Yeah. We went to, one year, my friend Wendy and her husband Joe, I think that's who it was, and I think there might have been another couple. We went to the VFW, and it was expensive-ish. It was crowded. My ex-husband didn't dance much. You had to get him schnockered before he'd stand up and try to
That's the
dance.
excuse.
That was kind of humorous. But it was like, is this it? Is this what New Year's is? And sometimes I think we have to think about
Oh yeah.
the expectation we give to New Year's.
Well, it's hard for me because I remember a couple of New Year's at home with Mom and Dad, but most of that was after I was married, because I got married pretty young, 18, and that was, by then I wasn't going to drink anything. First of all, I was not old enough. I wasn't actually legal drinking age at that particular time. I think it was 20 at that time. And they had a get together, and we went. Donald and I both went, and they had a bunch of people. I don't know, 8 people or something like that, and they were all drinking. And my dad had himself quite a few, but fortunately it was at home, so we didn't have to worry about driving anywhere. and he had given up smoking. And he kind of came out, and it was New Year's Eve happened, and everybody said Happy New Year and everything. And he gave up for New Year's. He gave up smoking. He's not going to smoke anymore.
That was 1973 going into 74.
Well, couldn't remember the year, but he gave that up. So for the rest of the night, everybody had to call him CL, CL this and CL that, because it stood for clean lungs. He kept saying his name is now CL because he's not going to smoke anymore ever. And you know what? He didn't. He didn't.
Yeah.
Even though he was drunk, he remembered, and he didn't drink anymore.
I remember it. This is my last cigarette.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he did.
Yeah, that's amazing. And that was the reason I know what day it was. It was actually, 73 to 74. That was the year that Mimi was born. Wait, it was 72 to 73. She was born in 73. And I remember sitting there. It's funny isn't it funny how little silly things that you shouldn't really remember them, but you remember them? I had on this cute little red maternity top with little white flowers going down the front, and I remember him saying, "That's it, I'm not smoking anymore." Yeah. And he did not. And I kind of sort of quit like that. Well, I had some
I don't know if I ever made a resolution.
False starts. A resolution, well, I always tried to make resolutions, but I really seriously don't know how seriously I took them. There were a few times when we, in my family with my children, as with Valerie and Donald, once we had the kids, our New Year's was the same. Go to dinner and a movie, and then we would go to Friendly's after that for ice cream.
We were close.
And we were close.
We would go to the movie first, and then we would go and get Chinese food for dinner and celebrate the New Year at home.
Yeah. We would go to, there was a Debbie Wong restaurant, so good in Middletown, and it had a movie theater right next to it. And then Friendly Ice Cream was just right in the same parking lot. It was It was fabulous. And but I have had a lot of very big happenings on New Year's Eve. Mom and Dad wanted us to join them once in Springfield, Massachusetts. The Hilton had this fabulous new hotel. My mother had to have everything
I told you they always
fabulous.
liked you, Beth. They didn't invite me.
Oh, horse feathers. You probably couldn't go. You probably didn't want to go.
I probably was pregnant.
I probably.
Probably I was pregnant all the time.
I don't remember, but it had a great big glass dome over the swimming pool. So we brought our bathing suits and everything, but we never actually took advantage of it, as I can recall. It was just an overnight, just one night. Of course, the Lissies were there, and but the thing is, we got home, and then I discovered my diamond ring was missing. And
Happy New Year.
so, Happy New Year, called the hotel. Nobody knew anything. Nobody. The strangest thing is, I swear, I remember taking it off. It was that horrible star set diamond I was telling you about, snagged on everything. I took it off, and I thought I put it in this little chest of drawers box. And then it was gone. But either I left it in Springfield or whatever, but you know what? It's funny. To this day, I kind of sort of think I'm going to look in that box. I'm going to look somewhere, and there will be that ring. I just couldn't believe, that I lost that ring. It was, another New Year's that I spent in Laguna Beach in California by myself. I worked for a timeshare company, and I'd rented a timeshare to one of the customers, and it was a travel and timeshare company, and he canceled last minute.
Jeez.
Couldn't get his money back or anything, so I said, guess who's going to the Laguna Hills? And it was amazing, and that was in 1989 to 1990, and I remember that because that's when I was getting ready for seminary. I had gotten my acceptance late in the year, I think, and then I was getting ready to go. And in those days, they had journals. It was called a mastermind journal. They still sell them, but they're kind of expensive. But I had the journal, and I wrote down my whole journal experience. And And that actually started me journaling. Well, I was journaling already pretty regularly, but from that one on, I think I've got about 35 years, 40 years of journals.
See, that's why we're doing this, because my life would be an absolute mystery without this. I don't write anything down. I don't do any journaling. So this is it, folks. Enjoy.
I can't tell you how happy I am that I journal. I mean, this is what you need to journal, okay? A simple, some kind of little spiral bound works. You can have a fancy one. I got a brand new one I'm starting tomorrow. I had been given as a gift last Christmas, and I finished up the previous one. It lasted me 2 years, and now I'm going to a new one. So journaling is really, really good.
Just to add this in, we are a little off kilter this year for New Year's Eve, partially because of COVID. That was a real problem. But Donald's got some health issues and has got to be careful that he doesn't go around anybody that's got any germs, because he doesn't want to have them move his tests and stuff like that. So we are just doing movie, this is it.
Yeah.
And Chinese food. That's it.
Yeah.
So it'll be fun. We have a good time. The kids are going to be off doing their own thing and everything, but just changes your pattern a little bit.
Yeah, it's funny. I realized when I was talking about going to Zatchell's when we were at Times Square, and I remembered I had lunch today at a Mexican restaurant.
There you go.
Maybe mine is more Christmas Eve. But I did plenty of Chinese. If you're anywhere near Colchester, Connecticut, there's a cute little Chinese restaurant in town by the Green, and it's just like the one in A Christmas Story. Where it has the thick wood and the tassels on stuff. And I haven't been there. Sammy and I went there one year for New Year's.
I went there a couple of years ago when Sue and her husband were moving back to Colorado, or wherever they live. Campers of ours that they used to they spent a year with us, and then they left. And we were saying a little goodbye. It's changed a lot.
Yeah,
it looks kind of the same, but whoever is apparently the owner likes to sit at the bar with the people and drink and talk very loud. Took a little bit of that kind of pizzazz away from the place for us. Food was okay, but check it out. It's worth checking out and looking at it anyway.
Yeah, I'll probably try it again one day. But so how are you spending it? We tried to share a little bit about how we spent it in the past. I'm very happy that it is rainy today, not snowy and icy, because I hate to think of people out on the road.
They are forecasting some pretty bad weather for the next 2 days or so.
Really?
But it's about 50 degrees outside.
It is.
For January 31st, well, it's not January 31st, it's December 31st, right?
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah. That's kind of warm. The
very
ground
warm.
is soft and muddy and stuff like that. So it was nice enough so that I went out and played with my horse. So that made it worth it for me. We got plans to do it tomorrow, too, so I'm hoping the rain stops.
Yeah. I think one of the most important things about New Year's is it's not necessarily the resolution thing. It's about what you want from the new year. And, one thing that we used to do when I was in pulpit ministry is we would have what was called a treasure mapping class, workshop, whatever. It's real simple. It's based on the principle, the thoughts you hold in your mind manifest. We have terrible glare on our glasses, Just trying to avoid that glare.
Make you seasick.
But I can't. Well, we just have to be looking a little bit like Orphan Annie. Sorry about that. You do a treasure map by taking a large piece of paper or a small one, and the first thing you do is you put a symbol for God on it. It could be just a little thing that says "Thank you, God," or "God loves me," or a little cross, or whatever you want, because God is our source of all good. And then you take magazines and go through and cut out words and pictures and stuff. And on your treasure map, you put pictures of something you would like to manifest. Now, this is metaphysical. It's not magical. People think things are magical, but they're really metaphysical, which is even better. We'll talk about that another day. But so I can't tell you how many things I have brought in basically through the power of focusing. So we forget to do is focus.
You get attached to this thing, too, because several years ago we were having, I don't know if it was Girls' Weekend or some kind of an event, and she decided to run one of these. What did you call
We
it?
did at the church, treasure mapping.
Treasure mapping.
Vision board.
And everybody seemed to get into it, including me. I still have it hanging up.
She
And I don't
does.
know how many years ago it was. Whether or not the things I was manifesting would be the same as I manifest today, I don't know. But I love it. I put a lot of heart into it, and I'm really glad I did it.
Yeah, and I think maybe that's how I will spend my quiet time today or tomorrow, because there ain't nothing going on. But I figure it is a good way to
Don't
learn
ride
to
my
focus.
horse.
Hell no. No, I don't do the horse riding. There's big teeth, big feet. Not going. Not going. But you may be able to. Well, depends how hard it's raining. But as you go into the new year, the first thing you should do is look back and see what you wished you'd have done that you didn't get done. And that is a good enough resolution for anybody. Pick one thing that you want to work on. There have been, it's a little conglomeration of single things that have given me a lot of hope. In this Christmas, because I'm so far from my family, I've spent a lot of time alone.
Except me.
Thank God I got you. Sisters. I'm so sorry for single children. So sorry.
Yeah, really.
Because we really drink to sisters.
Sisters. That's the best thing.
Yes, I am. But I thought about some of the mistakes I made. Because if there's one thing you want to do, I think our goal here on the planet is to learn. When I think about the mistakes I made, I have this sudden awakening, like, holy crap, I figured this thing out. Most of the mistakes I made were grounded in not having confidence in myself.
I
Not
agree with that.
trusting
I have the same thing.
myself. And if you're having any issues where you don't trust yourself, you don't believe in yourself, you think you have to be something or someone different.
Oh, yeah. And you have to be prettier, and you have to be smarter, and you have to be more clever, and you have to pick out the right clothes. You have to know what to do with your hair. I'm telling you.
And you have to keep up with the Joneses or be the Joneses.
Right.
Now, that's no longer my bag. But the core thing, whether it was my marriages, the churches I served, the jobs I worked, everything I did, relationships I had, the core was being okay to be me. And if our children are listening, and I pray they are,
Yeah.
if there's one thing I can share with you, it is the importance of you don't have to measure up to anybody. You only have to, you will regret if you make some kind of resolution or plan for the new year and you don't do it. You may regret not doing it. Well, good, you got another year to keep moving on. And as I understand, Jesus said that life is eternal, so we can just keep working on it. That doesn't mean you slack off and say, I'm not going to do it. But it means, so because I figure there's one thing that I would really want to share with you, and that is be who you are, be loving, and do what you love. Don't you think doing what you... Mm-hmm.
I noticed this year we went to see our grandchildren, great-grandchildren, for Christmas. Only brief visits because we didn't want to spread any germs or pick up any germs at that point. And to see the different generations, so we went to see our grandchildren, who now have children of their own. And the difference in the confidence level of the children and the quickness, how they're very bright, they're very smart, and they want to participate, and they want to know why, and they want to do all that stuff, and they're interested in how you wrap their presents and what they got from Santa Claus. I mean, everything is fascinating, and I'm not usually good on little kids' activities because I don't know why. God made me that way, But with my kids, it's great. And then I see from my kids to my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren, thank you, God, for giving me that. Because we've got 3 children, 5 grandchildren, and 4 great-grandchildren. And I am blessed beyond belief. And they all want to be something, be somebody. I just think it's wonderful how
As long as they're being who they want to be.
Exactly.
Hairdresser, didn't want to be.
No, paintbrush is what I wanted to handle.
Yeah, and she does it well. Don't give
But
up.
I waited till I'm this age to really start getting confident in it.
Yeah, see, that's it. That's the whole key.
Don't wait.
Is the confidence. Don't wait.
Give it a shot. If you don't work it out, something else will come to you.
Yeah. So I guess that's it for our
think
video
so.
today, and we would like to say to you,
Happy.
Happy New Year. May it be blessed. May you, at the end of the year, be more full of gratitude than any regrets.
Thank you for being with us.
Thank you. Yes. Be safe, okay? Drive defensively if you have to drive.
Don't drink when you do it.
Especially this stuff.
Oh, in live video.